Good morning and welcome to Metal Powder Works Investor Update webinar. We've got the co-founder and managing director and CEO, John Barnes, with us this morning. We've got a presentation up on the screen that he'll go through shortly. But just a reminder, if you did have questions following the presentation, please submit them through the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen, and we'll get through to those post the end of the presentation. But with that, John, I'll hand it over to you. Thanks.
Great. Thank you, Simon. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to those of you in the Northern Hemisphere. The big news for us was the order for the expeditionary direct powder system sale. Bottom line, what this does is allows us to extend what we can do that others can't do. We can be mobile, we can make more materials, and we provide more consistency than other powder manufacturers. The way to think about this is that we will be taking part in future exercises. Recently they just concluded, what was the name of that exercise? But I got it here in a second. We will be a part of the exercises that the Navy runs with not only U.S. forces, but allied forces. And in that, we will be the first powders that they use because they can make them wherever they need them. So it covers off those exercises. They'll learn how to use them in the field. A lot of that addresses what we call emergent needs. So when commanders need vehicles and things repaired quickly, that's what is called an emergent need. And now they've been using 3D printers like Speed 3D, VRC systems, and Titomic and others. And now they have a way to manufacture powder in the field. This is really important because aluminum powders, for example, are not something you want to be keeping around. It is used as solid rocket fuel. That is very pyrophoric, and we offer them an ability to manufacture those aluminum powders. Technically, it's better. It's also safer because that powder doesn't have to last for more than minutes as it gets consumed by the printer. This is a great new asset for the Marines and sailors and allied soldiers. We're very, very excited about that. And of course, as I think I put in my little vignette, my dad was a U.S. Marine, so always happy to support the Marines and the sailors. So moving on to the next bit there, we have a nice quote from Troy Ansell with the Navy. And there's kind of some loaded words in here around contested logistics, etc. But, think Guadalcanal and maintaining equipment. So it's not always about getting the most obvious things back in the fight. It's all the other stuff that's needed too. And so the Marines have been very proactive in this light. It was Lieutenant Colonel Curran, Chris Curran, that oversaw this. Troy is the procurement TPOC, and so we're looking forward to getting going with that. We're off and running currently, and get this in the hands of the Navy and the Marines as soon as possible. So it'll be on a ship. It'll be in the field. It will again mitigate that safety issue with having buckets of aluminum powder sitting around. The bars are very safe, and this is a really kind of unrivaled capability that I'm aware of no other force in the world will have. We go on to our next highlights there. So beyond working with the Navy and the Marines, we've also been really busy doing the things that we said we would do. So we've got multiple trials in progress with different people, highlighting, one specific case with Jacob at the Eaton Corporation. So, Eaton is a enormous consumer of copper. So we're working with them on a couple different materials. And, being a new process and our powder doesn't look like atomized powder, but the feedback is consistently the same. We're skeptical, but as Jacob puts here, are concerned out to be non-issues, and it works perfectly fine. So, we're just learning that time and time again. Meanwhile, over on the cold spray world, the people like Hammer Industries, Titomic, Speed 3D, etc., what they've always known is that non-spherical powders or blocky type powders work rather well. And so we tend to work very well there. We continue to see good result. We continue to see high deposition efficiency compared to atomized powder. And can't thank our next door neighbors, Hammer Industries, enough. They have achieved handbook, so rot property results with cold spray using our CP-Tie powders in air on the Speed 3D system. So the Speed 3D is a nice machine. It's not as high pressure as some of the others. So with the other machines being higher pressure, they should be able to enjoy the same results. So we're working there as we've announced. We're working the powder partnership with Titomic. They operate the a slightly higher pressure system. So we're hoping to get similar, if not better, results with them. The high deposition efficiency is really important because in some cases they're achieving 25 and 50% higher deposition efficiency. And that really just comes down to the users of those systems using our powders need less powder. So that kind of keeps us as a preferred source. So 6061, which is a pretty ubiquitous aluminum powder, we're working with UDRI, so that's the University of Dayton Research Institute. They manage, among many things, they manage the qualified parts list for the Defense Logistics Agency, and they're currently undergoing testing with our powder so that we're on that QPL. So that opens up ordering from the Defense Logistics Agency on a need-by-need basis. On the uh, copper piece here, we also enjoyed very high IACS or conductivity in cold spray trials. So that's key. Most people who are using pure copper are using in electrical applications. I think we mentioned Eaton already, and there's another large consumer of copper globally, whom we can't name just yet. We went under contract with them earlier this year for some trials in additive manufacturing. So meanwhile, on the other side, we've been busy on things that aren't additive manufacturing. So we've talked a lot about Toho, which is this commercially pure titanium. And recently, I would say in the last 6 weeks, from hard chrome, we went from go to whoa. And so that's been a fantastic development. So 6 weeks ago, we weren't even making the material that they were interested in. They asked us, can you do this bronze? We said, we think so. We did it. We shipped them 50 kgs. They tested it. We had a call with them last week. Greg Bartley said, okay, so what do we do next? Do you need more material to do more testing? And they said, no, we just want to buy more material. We're ready to go. So that's the beauty of the powder metallurgy market. So we're replacing the incumbent material there with in a laser cladding application. Let's see here. CP tie continues to look to be eye-watering. We've been taking in conversations with multiple users of CP tie, and those inbound signals are starting to range up to 600,000 kilograms a year. So we're quite keen to be on top of that. Some of it is traditional powder metallurgy, some of it is additive manufacturing. And so we're, as always, trying to balance those two things. So just to bears repeating, powder metallurgy today is about powder sales into that's about $6 billion, and additive manufacturing's about 900 million US. And of course, additive manufacturing is growing at a much higher pace than powder metallurgy, but $6 billion is hard to ignore. And a good chunk of that market is going to be coppers and CP tie. So we're going after those markets pretty aggressively. Um, what do we want to say here? We just completed some testing with Westinghouse. Continues to be a great partner for us. We believe that we'll see some very satisfactory results coming out of that, and look forward to the next phase of the roadmap with Westinghouse. Maybe we'll jump on to the next slide, Simon. And we were very excited to bring Jim McDowell onto the board as a non-executive director. Jim's got a mountain of experience. Actually, I guess I should say he's got an ocean of experience in the defense and naval shipyard shipbuilding world. And so Jim came to us with a lot of really great experience. He loves our technology. He loves the high return on CapEx that we see. He sees that we fill a need in defense, and he's been making some good introductions to some key leaders in some of those defense companies. I've already had 2 conversations so far in the last month, and still have one more to go before we move on to somebody else. So we're very pleased to have Jim working on our behalf. But go to that next slide, and hopefully you'll just keep hearing this from me. We're doing what we said we'd do. So our process is consistent. We want to be consistent. We said we'd go after and hire a sales team. Last year we did not have one. The sales team was me. But we're actually going to go get some professionals there. And so we continue to expand that sales and do the market development. So with that, we're bringing on, well, Greg Bartley is our VP of sales. And so he's been with us all of 4 months now. So huge veteran, and we're getting him into the swing of things. He's brought on very shortly here. We'll have a new, I'm very keen to bring on this individual as a resource to us who's an expert in CP tie market. And so it's part of the joy of being in the Pittsburgh region is that we have these professionals around. And so we very, very excited to have that new resource. Starting September 1, we just came to terms just today, actually, with a new sales professional. So we'll be announcing that at the first part of September, who's got a strong legacy of powder sales. So we're going to continue to build out that team. They've had some good successes. Most people will always say, sales is one of those things where you can never do enough of them. And so we're certainly, looking for strength there. But I think I'm very happy with the performance of our growing sales team. If you click on that video there at the top, Simon, that's a video of cold spray using our CP tie. So that's done at Hammer Industries using their Speed 3D cold spray machine that's being operated in air. So you can see what you don't see is a lot of sparking or excess powder flying around. So we're getting like 99% deposition efficiency. So pretty much everything you put through the nozzle is ending up in the part. And the movie down there on the right, so we have a brand new EOS M290 that was provided by the Department of Defense, so at no cost to us. Eric Rhodes, our M&P engineer, has been trained up on it. Here you can see we're doing some test cubes to examine parameters, but that's where we're spreading a new layer of powder on. And then you see we're immediately run into starting to laze the powder with the laser beam. And so what you don't see is a lot of spatter. You don't see a lot of vapor, and you don't see any spreading issues. So it just works, and it works well. On that picture just to the left, that's our intern, Ella Feener. She's come back for another summer with us. She is a mechanical engineering student at Penn State. And then there's me with a high school student who's come in to understand how computers and manufacturing work together. So that's back in our shop. And good strides, I think, overall. We're working all of our process development milestones. The next gen technology development is on track. We're looking to deploy that in the first quarter of next year. We've got a critical design review later this month on that. And then on that customer base, so for the year, we have 25 new to MPW customers. So we've got multiple different alloys, multiple different uses. Some customers are walking away with 4 or 5 different alloys to try. Titomic being one of them. They came to us and they said, we have a need for aluminum. We said, okay, here's 4 different alloys. Give them a go and tell us which one works best. So that's a key thing that we're trying to capitalize on. Like with hard chrome, we hadn't tried the material that they were asking about. Mitchell led the team. We developed some parameters. We shipped it to him within a week, 25 kgs, I think, maybe 50. And they got it into their system, and boom, off we go. So we just got a PO from them for the next batch. Next slide. So this is part of our process innovation or process development. So we have, low CapEx costs today. That's one of the beauty of our process. Chris Aldridge and I, the co-founder, worked really hard on equipment that would be very low human interaction, so very high automation, very low cost, so very high return on invested capital. So we've been proving that as we had published probably a couple of months ago, we developed some new tools for us that doubled the output of our machines with no additional CapEx. So that's literally we now can make twice as much powder on one machine through no additional cost to the machine itself. So we will continue to look for opportunities like that. The other piece I like to mention is the automation. So about a year and a half ago, we did an experiment over a weekend, and we tried to run the machines with no human intervention, looking for where they would need some help. And so through that exercise, we've developed multiple solutions, one of which is a new automation that we put in. And so quite literally, we can run 24 hours a day. We have a technician who supervises up to 4 machines, and now he can leave for the day, and the machines keep running for an extended period of time. So everything we're doing on that side of thing works on the current production and is applicable to next gen. So that's the beauty of this, is that we keep making improvements, and they help both architectures. And we will next gen builds on our current patents, and then we'll have some additional patents to build that fortress of intellectual property. I think we're right about there. For those of you that haven't seen what our system looks like, that is it in its current splendor. And you see our collection system on those images on the right. And what I like to show people is when they come to the facility, you can put your hand right on that glass window. It's a room temperature process. You'll also note how clean our facility is. And a clean powder facility is a safe powder facility, so something else that we take very, very seriously. So hopefully you can see that we are making good on our promises, and we're doing what we said we would do. I think maybe with that, Simon, I'm happy to do some questions.
Perfect. Thanks for that, John. Just a few questions that have been pre-submitted. Just on the horizon in terms of machine sales for the new applied science and technology research facility to be built on Guam. Did you have any comment as to how we might be involved or could potentially be involved there?
Yeah, so we're aware of that facility. There's also one going into Hawaii. So we're happy to provide machines to all or both. So that's they serve slightly different missions. Hawaii has Pearl Harbor shipyard, which is one of the 4 U.S. public shipyards for heavy maintenance on surface vessels. Guam has, I'll say, smaller capability. If you look at it, if you're going to put 3D printers on Guam, you've got difficulty getting powder to Guam. And so supply routes are a challenge. I really doubt you're going to put an atomizer on Guam because power is expensive. How you're going to get argon to Guam is another challenge. So, yeah, I think it's a valid piece. We like I said, we're happy to satisfy all the needs that are out there.
Very good. And just a question with regards to changing metal. When you change metal, is there any contamination at all?
Yeah, the way that we've designed the system, the collection system is actually independent of the powder generator. So let's say, for example, if you had 2 collection systems, you could immediately pull one out, switch a new one in, and have no contamination risk. Otherwise, what we do, if we're not changing out, if we're not replacing the collection system, it's about a 4-hour process to clean that collection system to transition materials. That still is a favorable trade to other powder production methods, which would be, days, days in a week situation. So it's something that we've taken a hard look at. to ensure that we don't have contamination issues.
Great, thanks for that, John. Just a question from Alex Lew at Morgans. You had 11 first-time buyers of metal powders during the June quarter. What feedback, both positive and negative, have you had from them in relation to those purchases?
To date, I don't know of a single negative feedback. Some of those just take longer times to do testing. And so, this kind of goes to a different thread, which is one of the reasons why we like to be in both the powder metallurgy side as well as the additive manufacturing side. If the users are going after additive manufacturing, that qualification path is a bit longer because typically you're qualifying the part all over again because you're using a new process and a new material. Whereas with the powder metallurgy, basically we're substituting an existing powder with our powder. So same chemistry, those types of issues don't present themselves. And so you're really just doing almost like a recertification, but not a requalification. So just as my usual advice is with the additive manufacturing world, I've been with it for 20 plus years. You got to have a bit of patience with it. But that's specifically why we're also addressing the powder metallurgy because we know our investors don't have a huge amount of patience, nor do I.
Thanks for that, John. What's the size of the bronze customer and also the copper customers?
Well, just in general, we see copper as being probably our second biggest market. So I lump the bronzes into that copper because for us, they basically kind of all process about the same. So we see it as being quite large. I think today the pure sorry, the pure powder copper market is probably about a $30 million market. And then you have the alloys that would be sizable themselves. So um, can't give you that exact number off the top of my head, but basically the way I look at it is CP tie is going to be, probably our biggest market, then copper-based materials, and then maybe zirconium and aluminums.
Perfect. Beyond delivering the first expeditionary unit, how's Middle Powder Works working with the Navy on trials, exercises, or other initiatives that could lead to longer term engagements?
Yeah, the expeditionary unit's really going to open the door strongly there. We've been working that proposition for many months. So been a lot of effort to put into that. And so that's really going to open a lot of doors for us. So if you think about a Marine or a sailor operating our DP unit, that enables them to use our powder maybe for the first time on different alloys. And so that's where we get that first mover advantage. Um, there's plenty of opportunities. The Navy is a big place, so there's the surface fleet, the maritime industrial base, and we're working to get into that. We've had conversations and we've shipped some product to Austal, for example. So we're very excited about that, and we're working to get involved in more of the maritime industrial base activities.
Perfect. Thanks, John. You've been building a presence in both additive manufacturing and traditional powder metallurgy markets. How do you see the balance between these two evolving? And how does this dual capability give you an edge over peers?
Yeah, well, we're definitely so I think additive is the longer term play. It takes a bit longer. It's also the higher growth market. So we need to have a bit of patience with additive. So we're aggressively going after the powder metallurgy side. And so starting with Toho, that is a powder metallurgy product, and several others like hard chrome. Again, that is uh, a powder metallurgy product. It's laser cladding. So we're seeing faster results, faster testing coming back with that PM market. So, PM strong work initially. Additive will be probably the bigger player eventually. So we're kind of that's the way I would ask people to think about it.
Perfect. And just in terms of hard chrome, the order turnaround was only about 6 weeks. How does that speed compare to the industry norms? And is it repeatable in terms of advantage?
So I'm led to believe by our customers that is a pretty fast delivery, especially when you consider we had never run it before. So I think if you're comparing from never having run a material to delivering it, that's record time. Um, they placed an order for 50 kgs, and I would probably guess we're probably about 50% of the way to fulfilling that order right now. So we look to fulfill that pretty quickly. Again, ultimately for hard chrome being based in Victoria, we're taking a hard look at what it would take to put a facility into whether it be Victoria or South Australia, because our advantage there is the small footprint, the low electricity content, the low labor content. And so where we can ship bars in and convert them to powder, we could even address customers like hard chrome that much faster. We recently completed a market study for Australia so that we can understand what the market looks like. So that's all part of our what I call Project Tempest. So we'll hopefully have some more results here over the coming weeks.
Great, thanks, John. And just on the Toho order that you mentioned, what could the potential size of the next order be in terms of bronze? And would this lead to a long-term contract with Toho, or is it just on a needs basis?
So just make sure we're clear on terms. So Toho is CP tie, and so our focus is with titanium with them. It is Toho Titanium, full name at the end of the day. So I would think upon successful completion of the testing that's going on right now, that we'd be looking for. I've advocated and promoted a 2,000 kilogram type order so that we could do a reasonable increase in production. They ultimately need to get to 90,000 kilograms. So you've got to take some measured steps to go from where we've been to 90,000 kilograms. We're not going to go from 90 kgs to 90,000 instantaneously.
Perfect. Just a question on CSIRO, which I can see on the shelf in the background. What's Metal Powder Works' relationship with CSIRO?
We don't have a formal relationship. I mean, obviously, I used to work there, so I have a lot of friends that's still there. I think we would like to have. I think that's a beautiful relationship, given the strength that CSIRO has, not only in powders but in additive manufacturing with Lab 22, which I helped establish, not knowing that I would be in a position to maybe use it in the future. So, yeah, we'd love to have a good relationship there. We've started some conversations, and we just money is always the issue.
Perfect. And just in terms of the powder testing with Toho that it's using, what lessons have been learned, and will this shorten powder qualifying in the future?
Yeah, I think that we've learned a lot on our side. So I like to tell the story that I was in the break room one day and guys were eating lunch, and head of operations says to me, "Oh, by the way, I doubled the tool life on tie." And I was like, "By the way?" I think that warrants even an email saying that you've done that. So we continue to lean out our process, and so we measure everything about our process, and we know where the room for improvement is. The board recently approved uh, bringing some tooling manufacturing in-house, and that will offer us some additional opportunities that we haven't had, and some flexibility. So from our side, we always learn. Our team is taught to look for opportunities for improvement within the process, and I think with Toho specifically, I think what we've learned there is Toho engineers are methodical. They are, they create a plan and they work the plan. And sometimes it doesn't happen as fast as we would like, but uh, the results need to be very robust.
Just in terms of how long it takes to build a machine, John?
Yeah, from ordering it to turning it on and making powder is, I would say, right about 3 months.
Perfect. And just in terms of after testing, how many kilos is a production run, which is worth doing, i.e., has a return on the effort to make it?
I, we think the effort there is like, what is the minimum order that we would accept
Hmm.
to run? It's quite low, given how quickly we can turn the machine over, but typically I would say it's in that. Probably wouldn't do anything less than 25 kgs. We have done less where we carry material now in inventory, which is kind of a newer thing for us. So as we build bits of inventory, we can supply smaller amounts of powder to people. Um, but we're pretty busy right now, so we have a material roadmap. So maybe a different way of answering that question is for materials that aren't on our current roadmap. Basically, we're asking for the customer to pay for that time and effort.
Perfect. And probably just a last question, just in terms of the powders for each customer, are they bespoke or off the shelf?
Every customer is special, but they're all getting the same recipe right now. So we have the ability to tailor that, but we've not found too many instances where a customer does require a special program to be run. So far so good. We have, as manufacturers like to say, standard work, standard product, and our high yields get us there, and the consistency keeps us there.
Perfect. Thanks for that, John. That concludes the end of the presentation. Obviously, you're out in Australia in back half of September with the ASX SMID conference, but I might just hand it back to you for closing remarks before we finish up.
Yeah, thanks. I continue to thank our investors and having patience with us. I mean, I think now we've been on the market for 6 months. Feels like longer. Um, and I should mention, you know, we can't be here without the investors. So we certainly recognize that, and that's part of why, we take it very seriously when we say we're going to do things, and we want to be able to do them. So I think just as a parting thought, with when people think about this opportunity with the Navy, uh, that is us getting our foot in the door first on every material. So I've always said, if you want to see innovation at work, put tools in the hands of Marines, soldiers, and sailors and airmen, and look out, because they'll use things in ways that nobody imagined. Uh, Sometimes, most of the time, good. Sometimes they get too creative, but we'll overcome that. So just appreciate everybody's interest, and look forward to visiting with people in September, later in September.
Great. Thanks so much, John, and thanks all for attending.